In our skateboarding lives, we've all probably heard at one point someone say that skateboarding will not get you anywhere, or that skateboarding is a waste of your time. You could hear it from your parents, your teachers, or maybe just some random angry Karen that you run into when you're street skating. This is hands down one of the dumbest things you can say to a skater. But do they have a point? Statistically speaking, the chances of you becoming a sponsored pro skater are very low. I mean, there's maybe 100 or so skaters that earn an income off skateboarding that they can actually live off of, even less that make the medium income. And there's maybe only a handful of skaters that have made millions of dollars, right? Well, actually, not really. To the top 50 richest skaters, according to Celebrity Net Worth, there are 41 skaters with a net worth of $1 million. But if you take a closer look, you'll realize they missed a lot of skaters. I'm talking Stevie Williams, the owner of the GK, definitely a millionaire, Jamie Foy, a pro sponsored skater by Red Bull. I've heard they give out pretty good checks. And they even missed Jake Phelps, the editor of Thrasher Mag, who's worth 20 mil. So because they missed all of those skaters, I'm sure they missed a lot more. It definitely did. So I'll just make it around even 100 skaters that have a net worth of $1 million as a very, very conservative estimate. But how many people make over the median income or make a living off skateboarding is kind of impossible to find out, but the industry is worth around $6.5 billion, so I'm sure that money is going somewhere. But what is possible to find is some real examples of skaters and where skateboarding has brought them. And I'll start at the worst place you could probably be at as a skater, and that's homeless or addicted to drugs. Now, I don't really have any notable examples of a homeless skater, but they do exist. But a skater that had a really bad problem with alcohol and other drugs is pro skater Antoine Dixon. Now, for all of you that know him, you probably remember him from Baker 3, which was definitely around the time of the peak of his addiction. It was also the peak of his skateboarding career. Now, don't get me wrong, he was and still is an amazing skater, but back then around the early 2000s till around 2015 when he got sober, it just seems that he was throwing away all of his talent. He would get high, he would get drunk, and that would result in him not going out to skate, and instead getting into fights with random people,
Nice one, asshole, my new Nikes, fuck, man,
cops, and even friends. He had an epically later episode on Vice, and it does a really good job in capturing how crazy his world was and how crazy he was. Some of his friends didn't care about his lifestyle and actually encouraged it, but other friends such as Andrew Reynolds and other skaters they met tried to stop him, but he was out of control pretty much. And what made it worse was he was a natural comedian. He made anything funny, and it's a lot easier to laugh with him than trying to tell him what to do. But thankfully now he's sober and he's back to skateboarding. Some people could use this as an example of how skateboarding attracts the wrong crowd and how skateboarders can be a bad influence. But this isn't exactly the case. Just based on my own opinion after watching the Vice episode, I feel like Antoine was struggling with a lot of personal issues during this time that caused him to fall back to drugs to cope with his dad dying and his older brother being in jail. He said his brother was his role model, and in my opinion, having a role model that's locked up in jail for most likely life probably isn't exactly the best role model to have. On top of that, I don't know what other issues he could have had growing up or just in daily life. Antoine isn't the result of skateboarding, and instead a result of the environment he grew up in, the people around him, and overall just his general addiction to drugs and alcohol. And this could happen to anyone anywhere, and most likely, if anything, skateboarding has saved him, and has served for him as a reason to get sober, and overall has given him a million second chances because of the friends he's made from it, and he still has his sponsors to this day. The next place skateboarding can take you is probably where most skaters are at right now, and where most of them will stay. The casual skateboarder that just likes skateboarding for fun. Although I'm sure all of us can agree that it would be really cool to be a pro skater, not all of us are willing to make that sacrifice. After all, being a pro requires you to be a really talented skateboarder and work really hard at it and practice pretty much every single day. And if you're not talented, then you have to work even harder as much as you can every single day. And whether you want to believe it or not, skateboarding at that pro level will result in you getting injured a lot. Whether it's broken bones now or random joint pains later, it'll all catch up to you.
I've fallen. And I can't get up!
A lot of skateboarders would just rather avoid all that and just enjoy skateboarding because of what it is. It's a great hobby, it's fun, and it's one of the most rewarding things anybody can do. A lot of these regular skaters have another interest aside from skateboarding and will typically rely on their job to make a living and then go out to skate when they aren't working. Although it may not be the glamorous pro skater life you imagined you would have when you were 12, it's not that bad and it's honestly all that you need, especially if you have a good group of friends around you. Skateboarding can also take it down some unusual paths that you typically wouldn't expect skateboarding could. More specifically, skateboarding filming. Filmers have been around from the early start of street skating and are still valued today. Even with everyone having an HD camera in their pockets, having somebody that knows how to film you skateboard is somewhat rare and also a valuable thing to have. The best example of this is filmer Spike Jones. Spike started out in the early 90s skateboarding and also filming other people's skateboard and BMX. This led to him filming, directing, and editing Video Days, a skateboard video released by Blind Skateboards in 1991. This was, and still is, considered one of the most influential skate videos of all time, and his filming and editing format is frequently cited as the definitive filming template for skateboarding videos. He would continue to film prominent skateboarding videos in the 90s, and co-founded Girl Skateboards with Rick Howard and Mike Carl in 1993. It was also in the early to mid 90s that he would start to expand his reach from skateboarding into music videos, and it resulted in him directing music videos for most notably the Beastie Boys, Daft Punk, and Kanye West. In 1999, Jones began his feature film directing career with Being John Malkovich and Adaptation in 2002, earning him a nominee for Best Director. He was also a co-creator and executive producer for Jackass, and later would begin directing films based on his own screenplays, including Where the Wild Things Are in 2009 and Her in 2013. Today he's won Academy Awards, the Golden Globe, and a bunch of other stuff that I won't mention because I don't want to have all of you bored and leave the video. Anyway, what is his takeaway from all of this? Well, just because you like skateboarding does not mean you have to follow the structured path of becoming a pro. Spike Jones is probably one of the most iconic skateboarding filmers and directors in history, but even today there's still a lot of skaters looking for good filmers, and skateboarding is a good way to learn a lot about how to film and how to make your shots something that people enjoy watching. So basically, if you have any interest in filming, skateboarding could be a really great path into that, and it could result in you becoming like Spike Jones and being an amazing director. Working in the skateboarding industry is the most common way for skaters to earn a living from skateboarding. And no, I'm not talking about the industry of being a sponsored skater. I'm talking about working at a skate park, a skate shop, or for a skateboarding company. This is the most common path that people take when they love skateboarding but aren't quite good enough or just don't have enough exposure to be able to live off of sponsors. And in my uneducated opinion, this is probably the best way to get into the industry too. You will always be surrounded by other skaters, and you can still skate for fun or work on progressing and putting parts out and getting sponsored, all while working at your job. And there's obviously a lot more benefits to working in whatever skateboarding related job you could have. For example, if you work at a skate park, you'll have access to skate there almost whenever you want to. And if you work at a skate shop or a skateboarding company, you will most likely get discounts for some of their products. Going down this path most likely will not make you rich, but hey, as long as you love what you're doing for your job and it doesn't even feel like work, does money even matter? But for all of you that still want to be a sponsored skater and be able to make a living just off of skateboarding alone, it could be a lot closer to reality than you can imagine. As all of us know, for the most part, the big skateboarding videos are becoming a thing of the past, with everyone moving on to Instagram and YouTube to upload their clips. And it's mostly because of this that people, or more specifically older skaters, say that the golden age of skateboarding is gone. And to a certain extent, they do have a point. Every trick that can be done has been invented already, and a lot of iconic skate spots have been destroyed, and the age of iconic skateboarding videos for the most part is gone. But with this, we also begin the revolution of social media skaters. More specifically on Instagram, where you can see thousands of individual skaters' accounts post their insane tricks to their thousands of followers. And while you do need to be a good skater, or at least make up for your skateboarding with editing, cool clothes, or exaggerated tricks, the barrier to entry is practically non-existent, and all you could need to get noticed by some skateboarding company is a few thousand followers and a barrack shout out. So if you're a good skateboarder and you know a bit of basic Instagram marketing, you could technically become a pro overnight, or at the very least get sponsored by some company and get free stuff, which is obviously a nice perk to have. So that just goes to show you some of the places that skateboarding can take you. And next time someone says that skateboarding won't take you anywhere, show them this video. And if you love skateboarding and want to make it into a career, I hope this video gave you some ideas for what you could do to make it happen. Anyway, if you watched this far and you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, and if you're new, make sure to subscribe. I upload videos twice a week. Also, if you guys notice anything different about the audio, it's because I got a new mic, so if you do enjoy the new mic, let me know, or if you don't like it, let me know too. Anyway, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon.